Okay, here's example number 2 in section 2.3, graphs for quantitative data. This example number 2 illustrating what a frequency polygon is. And back to the first one I did, I outlined and talked about if you have a single value for ungrouped, it would just be a line graph. But if we have intervals here calling for grouped frequency distribution, we have to find midpoints. So kind of extend, I just do that both here. For the individual problem, they're going to ask you to find a relative frequency, and because the word relative, be careful of that because I'm going to sneak that word in there on the test. Because of that, we have to also extend here on the frequency for the y-axis. So in conjunction with that, we have a dividing line here. On the left side of that line, we have an x-axis label for midpoints, and then our y-axis label will be reflecting the relative frequency. Thus, we won't use the classes in frequency, but we'll involve those in order to figure out those new values to use. So let me start off with the first one here for this 50 to 59, 60 to 69. And you can tell it's very similar to the other problem that we did. I'm going to take that, add that. So 50, start off with the first one. 50 plus 59. 109 divided by 2, again add divide by 2, you get 54.5. 54, let me zoom in on that. 54.5, sorry, not for that one. We'll go back and find that one up above it, 54.5. Then the next one, again here, you can see that the class width is 10. But we'll just find the next one anyway. 60 plus 69, add them together across, divide by 2. So again, add going across, and then divide by 2. So this would be, what do we get here? I just erased it here, 64.5. Then use that class width. We can tell here that between the, like say the 50 and 60, it's plus 10. Or minus 10 depending upon which direction you're going. So I'm going to do plus 10 to go down, 74.5, 84.5, 94.5, and then I'm going to backtrack here. Let me go back and find the first one and the last one again to connect to the x-axis. So I'm going to do a minus 10 and a plus 10 to do that. 54.5 minus 10, 44.5 will be our connection to the x-axis. And the last one there, 104.5, would be on that other end. So again, the same sort of midpoints the last problem we did, but then we got to make that adjustment for the relative frequency. And it works out super easy here, is that because the sum is equal to 100, it's an easy conversion there to a percentage. So that's kind of nice. However, most cases it doesn't add up to 100, and you have to do a little bit of work there to adjust that for whole number there, or one place to write the decimal if you have a repeating decimal. But nonetheless, what this happens here is that the sum of these also needs to add or be really close to 100% if they're rounded. So I've got that all completed. So for my y-axis here, this is relative frequency. Zoom in and do that. And then you got your x-axis, which is these, looks like in this example's final numerical grade score. So final grade. So here I've got relative frequency. And then the x-axis is, looks like here, yeah, we already have it labeled there, grades. Great. All right, so let's go ahead and label those midpoints, starting off with the first one, the 44.5. The next one, 54.5, 64.5, 74.5, 4.5, running out of room here, 94.5. I need one more. Let me squeeze that in on my scale. Just gotta move this down a little bit here, just to make sure that everything's evenly spaced out and nice. So Not sure I'm going to have just enough room there for the 104.5 to connect that back to the x-axis. We'll squeeze it in there. Okay, so let's make some dots there for beginning and end points there. So right here at the origin for that dot, make that a little bit bigger there. And then the last one here, that dot, those are connected to my x-axis. Let's create the other dots as well, coming back over to the, in this case, the relative frequency. So it looks like we have 10, 10, and 30. So start off with our first official midpoint. So we got a 10%. Then we got another 10%, and it jumps up to right here, 30. Then let's keep going here. For the next one, it's going to be 45%. Or we made my scale at advance here to save a little bit of time. So here's my 45 there. And then next one is 5%. So big drop here. Down right there. Okay, let's go ahead and connect all these together. So a little probably too big of the line there. Let me make that a little bit smaller. Let's try that. Okay, looks good. So nice uniform there. Let me adjust this. Nice uniform line because the two frequencies are the same. Let me keep going here and just connect the dots together. And don't forget this last one, connecting this last to the x-axis. And there you go. You got a slightly different shape there. This is called a relative frequency polygon. That'll do it for this example for frequency and relative frequency polygons. And the x-axis there is midpoint, y-axis relative frequency, and that's pretty much all there is to it.